Okay. So what are the so what we'll do in today's class, we'll discuss different options which you're seeing at this EC2 console level. So when you open EC2, there are so many options you're seeing, right? Whenever after instance has been launched, these things. So let's discuss those things, such as status checks. From accidental termination and then encryption. Volumes. Pricing models. So let's discuss each one of the option. So where did you see status checks? Anyone remember? Anyone seen that word? The first one, status checks. All these days when you're practicing, by any chance? Okay. So
The instance is running or not, we need to check the status.
right. Status checks. So let's say. So what do you think is like first of all, whenever you're launching an instance, let's say you're launching an EC2 instance that can be Windows or Linux. So your that means in the physical in the data center, they have that mission. From there, you're accessing it remotely with the help of internet. So whenever you're launching a Linux instance or Windows instance, do you think like there is a separate laptop or desktop in the data center which is allotted to you when you launch it? Or is it something like a big hardware or on top of it there are so many missions? Out of those missions they are giving you one. What do you think? You got my question right? Let's say you have launched 100 EC2 missions. So is there 100 laptops or 100 desktops separately in the
No,
data center?
no. Only one base machine will be there, either storage or something.
Right. So if that was the case, there won't be enough space. Just imagine only in my project I use almost 500 missions. It's a even medium-sized project mine is. But just imagine a big projects where they use thousands of missions in the same one project. So they don't have that much physical space to allocate that many missions physically. So what is the architecture? So you need to know the hardware architecture of the AWS. So they don't have individual missions, guys. They will have something big base mission, a big hardware based mission. They will have, which we call it as a physical system. That means it's a hardware, that a big hardware. On top of that hardware, they will install the virtualization software. What is virtualization software? Anyone?
VMware,
Right, VMware and these things. So what is the virtualization software used by AWS? Xen, Xen. So on top of this, they will launch many EC2s. So these are all EC2s, different. So whenever you are launching EC2, maybe you will get this one. Maybe I will get this one. Maybe some other persons will get this one. Like, but what we don't know is maybe below we are all using the same hardware. that only we will get this particular IP, you will get this particular IP, I will get this particular IP. Like. So let's discuss about a virtualization software. Maybe all don't know the meaning of this virtualization software. So let's say, what do you think is? Let's say I have my base machine is Windows laptop. Let's say I'm using now Windows laptop. So in my Windows laptop, can I launch a Linux machine? I mean, not through AWS cloud generally by using any software.
Yeah, you can.
So that means virtualization means nothing but software means out of your base machine. Let's say you are having a Windows machine, but you want to launch a Linux machine. So what this software will do? This software will utilize your hardware resources, your base machine's hardware resources like RAM, CPU, hard disk. Not completely, a portion of it. Let's say you are having 6 GB RAM. Maybe it will reserve 2 GB RAM for launching a Linux machine. Similarly, you are having 1 TB hard disk. Maybe it will reserve some 100 GB for launching a Linux machine, like that. So using little bit of your physical hardware resources of your local machine, it will launch the Linux machine. So in order to get that interface, in order to launch that another OS, this software is useful. That virtualization software supports launching another OS even though your base machine OS is a different OS. So what are different softwares at server level? I mean, in server level, the virtualization softwares we have are Hyper-V, and then we have ESXi. This is from Microsoft. VMware. These are server editions. So what are softwares are a desktop edition? That is desktop for laptop. Oracle VirtualBox. Mhm. VMware workstation. So these are the software set desktop edition. So now you understood that yes, whenever you launch system, there are two components. One is a physical system, which is nothing but the hardware. So this is the hardware of machine, and this is the proper machine, or whatever your this instance, whichever you're going to mention individually. So what we'll do, let's launch an instance and see what is the status X, what are the types you can answer, and then we'll discuss much more in depth about this concept. I'm not going to log inside machine, just let me know. So let's not mention. So this is the status check. This is different. Instance state is running, pending, stop, terminated. That is state. This is something else. Status check is different. Here it will come up with something. So what will come here? Anyone remember?
2 by 2 checks pass, 2 by 2 checks pass, something like that.
Right. So what is that 2 by 2? Have you ever got that? Okay, let's see.
Instance is working properly.
Okay. So here let's write down the list of the probabilities. So what do you mean by 2 by 2 check? Passed?
All checks passed.
Which one? All? So 2 by 2 checks passed means both your hardware as well as the software are passed. Software means nothing but your this one, virtualization one. Both are passing, that's why you're able to launch instance successfully, you're able to connect to it, and you're able to work on it. That is called 2 by 2 checks. Now what do you mean by 1 by 2 check?
Whether the hardware or software is passed.
Hmm. Any others? You, in fact, you don't need to get a doubt. You can say confidently which is fair in this case. 1 by 2. Just think.
Hardware is passed.
Then, yes, correct. Actually, hardware is passed. Why? Because 1 by 2 means you are confident that one is something is passed. One is definitely passed. So how do you check? First of all, you have to start from hardware. On top of that one, you will install software. Then only you will get EC2.
Yes,
So
sir.
yes. So you said one is passed means definitely that hardware should be passed. Then only you can check whether the software is running fine or not. So in this scenario, hardware is passed, where software is failed. What is 0 by 2?
Both are failed.
Both are failed.
Both are. So in fact, you can say maybe both are maybe not failed. Let's say if hardware is working, if hardware might be working properly, software will be running for sure. That can be the case. So you can say the exclusive answer you can say is hardware failed. We don't know about software. That's the exclusive answer. But still, since there is a issue with hardware, you cannot go inside the machine and check about software. So what we will assume is both are failed. If someone asks exclusive answer like exclusive, then you can say we don't know. I mean, hardware is failed for sure, but we don't know about software. Since we don't know, we are assuming that is also a failed. So these are the three probabilities. So when 2 by 2 checks is passed, it's okay. You got nothing to do. Everything is running fine. You simply start it, connect to it, work on it. But what will you do whenever if you see this 1 by 2? What is the solution? So hardware is failed means what will you do then?
Maybe contact some Amazon support, something like that.
Yeah, that we will. It's if it's not even working. First, we need to. Being a cloud engineer, you need to do something from your end. So you see these types of things, the questions they will come in SysOps administrator certification. Ops means operations. So being a cloud engineer, how you're managing your operations, that means your infrastructure. When you come across these things. So being one way to so immediately you won't ask the supporting team. First, you need to do something from your end. So the solution is reboot. So you have reboot or not? Instant stop this thing. Check instant. Stop, start, reboot, hibernate, terminate. So what you will do? Reboot. So what will happen is when you reboot?
It will refresh the system again.
Right. So whenever, so what do you think whenever the system is rebooted? So do you think completely power will off and on?
No.
The power supply will be there, and in fact the machine will be in a running state only. The only thing which are reloading is the OS level file. So let's say simple example, whenever you install any software, right? Any software installed in your Windows laptop, what it will say after installation name? If the changes has to take place, we have to restart the system. Have you seen on whenever you install any software, it will give you option. Do you want to restart now or restart later? Whenever you install some software. So what is happening then? So because you install new software, it will take place. That means C drives or new folders have been created. The control panel it takes place. That new software shows. So if we have to restart the system, then only the OS will be accepting the new files. Same is the case here. Whenever you reboot means not stopping and starting OS. Reboot means machine will be in a running state only. The only thing is you are reloading the OS level files, the software kernel level files. So what will happen even though so what is the issue is with your hardware or software? The issue is the software. So something related to in the C drive. So where are all the software and OS related files in the C drive? So whenever you reboot the machines, so what if the computer will do this mission? It will reload. Again reload all the software level files, OS level files, everything it will maybe some files are in sleeping state. That's why you got this issue. So when you reboot again they will come into active state. Maybe this issue will go and come back to 2 by 2. So that's why whenever you see 1 by 2 jet, first the solution being a cloud image is reboot. Next, what is the solution at 0 by 2? So here only answer is if you want clue, the answer is 0 in this one. So whenever you see 0 by 2, in both hardware and software are also same. Then you go with you stop and start your PC. That's why I said reboot is not same as stopping and starting as when you stop and start what will happen? The complete machine will be completely switched off. There won't be any power supply. There won't. The machine is not in running state. Whereas here, machine is in running state only. The files are reloading. The software files, OS level kernel files are reloading. Whereas at 0 by 2 when you stop, the machine will be completely stopped in dead state, and again it will start like a new machine from the start after something. That's why stop and start take maybe some 5 minutes, whereas reboot take only 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes. So what will happen when you stop and start the machine? Any idea? So how? So definitely, what is the issue with here? You are 100% sure the issue is with your hardware. So any guesses? What might happen if you stop and start the machine? So that means there is some physical thing needs to be changed. There is some issue with the physical component, not software component. If something software issue is there with component, you reboot from OS level, files are reloading, the files are coming from sleep state to active state. That reboot is enough. But what you have to do, if there is the issue with hardware, you have to replace the hardware itself. So the answer is that only. So whenever you stop and start the machine, what will happen? AWS will remove this EC2 machine from this physical hardware and it will attach to another healthy hardware. Wherever some other healthy hardware is running, the EC2 will be launched there. So automatically, since the hardware is in healthy state, then after some time we'll get 0 by 2 will becomes to 2 by 2. So this happens only if you are having 0 by 2 checkers. Whenever you stop and start the machine, even though you're getting 2 by 2 or 1 by 2, the hardware won't change. The EC2 will be the same hardware. Only when the hardware will be changed, in case if you're having 0 by 2, only in that scenarios, in the data center, they will remove that virtual machine from the physical machine to another healthy hardware. So that is the solution when you come across 0 by 2 checks. So if you can see here, these are the 2 by 2 checks. If you want, you can check as in status checks. Sometimes I see 1 by 2. You also see when you're practicing. I never seen 0 by 2. Very rarely. 1 by 2, yes, we will see. So at that time, just reboot the machine. So you see here, I will see the option. System checks means instance. System means hardware or software. Instance means a virtual machine, it's a software. To report the instance status if our checks do not reflect your experience with this instance or if they do not. What they said, if you are having any issues with status check, report us. That means you can write to the support and you know how to write support. This status checks detect a program that may impede from running your application. Because you see, if status checks is not passed, sometimes you cannot log into machine. If 1 by 2 is there, you cannot log into machine. So that's what they're saying detects problem that may impede. Any doubt in this hardware architecture of, at the cloud level? What is the physical system? What is hard virtual on top of it? What is happening this?
Sure. You said that it is going to another hardware, right? Another healthy hardware if it is not working.
Right.
So we have two or more hardwares. I don't understand that. What does it mean?
That
Another hardware means
another hardware means like how many there will be so many physical hardware like this in the data center, right? Not only one hardware, there will be lakhs of hardware like this, big hardware in the data center. So whenever if something is unhealthy from there, it will go to any another healthy cell, another healthy hardware.
There will not.
Is it clustering methodology they will use?
We don't know what is the technology they use. This is the back end which we can't see with your eyes, but this is the technology which happens in the back.
Okay.
How it is happening, that is their secret. They won't reveal that.
Oh, got it.
So next, so what will happen? Let's say in companies you are having different environments, right? So what are environments? Different environments.
Production UAT dev.
Production, UAT, development. So what are these things? So if your product is something live, so some boxes are allocated production where your website is running, the customers are seeing your website, the traffic will come to production. Development and testing means not live project. So before going into the production, you will test and develop here. These are development and use. So utmost importance is given always to the production machines. You need to make sure they are running properly. At the same time, there should not be any manual errors. Like you should not say, sorry, by mistake I have deleted the production machine. A small mistake might cost your job, losing your job also. You should be really careful while working. Because you see, these are all very small options. These are options. Just two clicks, that's it. You can destroy complete infrastructure with one click. So you should be really careful. So let's say sometimes actually here I have launched only one mission there. Here I launched only one mission, so one by one. But let's say there are 100 missions. When you select this one and when you scroll up and you select another mission here, you can't see the first which you have selected. Why? Because in one page you can see 50. Here you can do the settings. One page you can see 50 or 100 missions at a time. So when you select the first one and scroll down something while you are looking and select the other one, and you wanted to terminate the second one actually, which is a testing mission or something. But what happened? Above you have selected one production mission which you did not have an idea about. So what when we go to instance state and terminate it, how many will terminate in this scenario? Two. Both this test mission as well as the above production mission. Until unless you have to cross check here, it will show here 2 by 50. That means you have selected 2 missions out of 50. But for some reason, if you forget to observe that you have selected one more mission on the top and if you do terminate, both will be terminated and this might cause an it will escalate to point if you delete any production. So how can you avoid this? That means at any time by mistake if you are deleting a production mission, it should not get deleted. So how can you get that? How can you achieve it? There is an option called protection from delete accidental termination. Where can you find it? Go to action, instance settings, say here, change termination protection. So currently it is in a enable or disable state. Currently it is in
disabled state.
Disabled.
disable state. So what will you let? Enable it. So now you can, now let's try to terminate this mission and see what to get. What do you think? Will it be terminated now? To terminate? Okay, this only, right? Yes or no? Is it terminating or what? What did it say?
Failure to
Failed.
terminate.
Failed to terminate.
May not be terminated.
So what it's saying, it may not be terminated. Why? Because we have enabled the termination protection. So this is how you have to, this is a compulsory thing actually. Once you enter inside the company, you have to make sure all the production, there will be load balancers which use a production level. In load balancers also, you will have that option there. In actions, if you check attributes, in actions there will be attributes. In the attributes there will be protection from accidental termination. Similarly for EC2 also this one. One second. These are really termination, and now you can terminate. Now it is successfully shutting down and it will get terminated. So don't think like this one. What is this? Protection from accidental termination. Do you think only after launching only you can enable this option or while launching also? What do you think?
After enabling the instance.
So the first thing you need to understand is whatever the options you are seeing, after you launch, everything is there while launching also. So how can you enable that? Delete and protection using step 3. Very blind rule is in all these 7 steps, which is the step you have many options? Only step 3. In step 3, if you observe carefully, if you shut down, scroll down, can you see anywhere protection?
Is
It's a,
enable termination protection.
it's the same thing. So if I while launching mission only, if I select this one, even though after launching the mission, if you terminate the mission, it won't terminate. Same, you have to do again disable this one, then only you can terminate. It is the same option. So that's why what I wanted to say is whatever the options you are seeing after launching, every option is available while launching also. So these two things we have discussed: data protection, protection from accidental termination. Next is encryption. Okay, what is the meaning of encryption? Simple word. Simple word. You can say it as
Secure.
yeah, locking or securing. So how can you lock or secure? So if someone has to enter inside the D drive or E drive, they have to enter the password. So that means you have encrypted the D drive. You have encrypted any folder encrypted D drive. Have you ever tried to encrypt your D drive, E drive, or any F drive, C drive in your laptop?
No.
Try to encrypt.
No.
You can search in Google. Just see in Google how to encrypt any D drive in a Windows machine. Encrypt means nothing but you have to give password. So let's say any of your friends or family open your laptop. Suddenly they can't go into the D drive. It will ask for password. Even if you have to open it, it will ask for password. That means you have encrypted that drive. Similarly, where you can see this encryption here. Here also we have drives or not. In the name of what? What is our drive? We call them as
EBS.
EBS volume. So these are your drives. So how can you encrypt? Where can you see option encrypt? Encrypt. So currently it is not encrypted. Here you have nothing to do. There's simply one option. You just select it. That's you see. You just select this option. Encrypt. It will only encrypt it. And who can unencrypt that one? You need to give permission. Okay. I want only this person to automatic. If this person is only accessing my volume, then only open the drive, unlock it for you. So AWS will unlock it for you and open it and show you. Only if you have logged in and working as that particular user. So moving further, we will discuss another service called IAM. You see that IAM. While logging into the AWS account, you see a root below that IAM. So this IAM deals with permission, a centralized permission, user level, group level. At each user will have its type of permissions like that. So what I will do, okay, for a Raven IAM user, he can unencrypt the things. So if you have to enter inside this volume, you need to log in as Raven user and then only you can go inside this volume. So for that, first of all, you need to encrypt it. So how can you encrypt it? Simply click here, open it will encrypt it. And next, what we discuss is volume. So what are different types of volumes? All these days we are launching only C drive or more than C drive, anything we are launching?
Sir, I have one doubt in
Only
it.
C drive. Only C drive. Yeah, we'll take it out now. Okay, let me explain first. Yes, volume. Only C drive. So now add volume and volume D, E. Like that, how many volumes you can launch? You can launch everything. Okay? E, D, E, E, anything. So here I just wanted to explain you one thing, one option.
Sir, here any limit?
No, there is no limit. So delete on termination. Limit means you know what is the free tier limit? 30 days. But other than that, once in a real time, there is no limit. You can launch any number. What is
All
delete?
will be SSD.
No, that's what I'm saying. So what we'll do, let's launch different. One is IO series, one is SC1, one is SP1, one is Nike. Okay. So what I will do? So currently it is not enabled this option. I am enabling this one option. Okay. So you see that first of all there are so many. And so why automatically 125 came when I change the type of volume? Why? Because it's a minimum. Some types of drives, AWS says if you have to launch whole hard disk, just one type of volume, the minimum you should start with is 125. That's why automatically it came 120. So let's say other one. If you want, you can increase the other one. It is only minimum. So if you want, let's say I will make this as 10. I will make this as 12. Like that. Similar to C drive, if you want to increase, you can increase 10. So let's go with default value. In today's class, we don't focus on increasing and decreasing. In today's class, let's focus on what are the different types. Just focus on what are the different types and what is this option. Okay. So now let me launch the machine. So what is the meaning of this guys? Delete on termination means just by name, by sharing the name on it. What you're deleting, if you delete something, what is getting terminated? What you're terminating or what is getting deleted when you terminate something?
Instance termination. Okay, while terminating
Well,
instance, it will delete the data also.
right, right. So you see, let's say, same example, your laptop is having hard disk. So hard disk is working properly. There is some issue with your hardware. Something screen is broken, motherboard is not working, keypads are not working. So what can you do? You can replace, you can remove the hard disk and attach it to another machine or no?
Sir, sir.
Yes. So that means what is happening? Same in the language of AWS, you are removing the volume from one instance and you are attaching volume to the another instance. So how can you remove a volume from one instance without getting the data deleted? But you have to delete the machine, but at the same time, your volume should not be deleted. In that scenario, we use this option. So if I select this option, whenever I terminate my EC2, automatically this also gets terminated. But if I did not select these options, what will happen? My machine gets deleted, but my hard disks and my C drive will be there in the volume section. So for that, first you need to know where these are getting reflected, where you can see all these volumes pop up. So let me launch the machine first and then we'll here also I'm not going inside the machine. I will just see where it is and how it works. Let's say this machine is an terminated state. You don't want to see terminated machines. You want to see machines only which are in running state. How can you see? You can apply filter. Mhm. You can apply filters here. instant state. Okay, instant state. So what you want to see? You want to see how many things which are in running state. The terminated will be there, but it will go up to sometime 1 hour or like that. Meanwhile, if you don't want to get disturbed, simply you can apply filters. There are so many filters you can explore those things. These are small options. Fine. So where can you see this volume here? First of all, is in. Let's select this instance. Can you see anywhere storage?
Yeah, storage. Print of that.
Storage. So what will do? Let's click on that. So how many we have launched? Apart from C drive, we have launched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total this many we have launched. So where can you see all these things? Here it is showing, but if you have to say exclusively what is this, which type, that hard disk or SSD. In the left side you have the volume EBS. What is this? Nothing but EBS. These are all hard disks. Hard disk you have volumes. So click on that. These all will be reflected. So go to volume. You see all the volumes what they are. ST1, SCAN8, IO1, SCN, GT2. So what are these things? Just leave. We will discuss now in a talk. Actually, hard disks are only two types. There are hard disks, but there are only two types of hard disks.
Sir, one question here. It's like we have all this volume that we have created, but when we go to EC2 and select the volume, so that time how it is going to map that this instance is mapped to this volumes if there would be another instance as well. So if you go to volumes, there are more.
Whenever you're launching mission, whenever you're selecting hard disk, obviously it is attached to only that mission. Why will it will get attached to other mission?
No, if there would be multiple instances we have created, right? So for each instances we have two,
Here
three,
you
four.
here you have name, right? Your instance name is reflecting in the hard disk also. In your, let's say, because now we are dealing only one, let's say you're having 100 missions. So if you come to volumes, let's say each mission is having 5. So 100 missions means here you will see 500 volumes. How can you say which volume is belong to which mission?
Yes,
Based
sir.
on the name. So whatever the instance name is, that the same is the volume name also. So what are the types of volumes? First of all, you see there are only two types. One is SSD, another one is HDD. So if you observe carefully under SSD only, we are having two things. I have launched each type, right? GP series, IO series, SP, SC and standard. We have launched, I think our C drive I have launched this one, GP2. Remaining all the hard disk. This is one thing, this is one, this one. This is my root drive. So forget about your root drive, D drive, V drive. Just discuss about, just focus on these things. What is the characteristic of SSD and HDD? What is HDD? What is full form? Abbreviation?
Hard disk drive.
Hard disk. What do you mean by SSD?
Solid state drive.
This one, solid state drive. Fine. So which is the latest one?
SSD.
This is the latest one. This is the old technology. So anyone using SSD in your laptop or desktop?
Yeah, I'm using that.
Yeah. So you see earlier, like 2 years back, not even more, only just 2 years back, also we are using hard disk only. SSD came just recently from last year, from last 2 years. So what is the difference between them? Why solid state drive is latest? What is the reason?
Yes. Speed, sir.
Right. So Stephen, what do you say? It's the performance. It's performance. So the only difference between SSDs and hard disk are two things: availability and durability. Availability and durability. So availability means what do you mean by availability? Whenever you upload any let's say object or song or video, you have uploaded into hard disk. So if you want to access it immediately, it will be accessible. That means 100% availability is there. what where let's say availability is less. Less means it will be accessible, but maybe it will take some time. Immediately you can't access it. It will say wait some time. It is processing. Your hard disk is saving the file, something like that. That is called availability. Durability means what is the meaning of durability?
Long lasting back.
Right, long lasting. That means how many years it is available. So you see sometimes if the type of hard disk is a cheap quality, there will be some hardware issues and it will break. I mean it will be some blocks will be happening and you can't access the data inside. That means your data will be lost because of cheap quality of your hardware. That is called durability. Performance we already discussed. So the difference is this only between SSD and hard disk means SSD is very fast, it is highly durable, it is highly available. Whereas hard disk maybe compared to SSD it is a bit less. So how many types of hard disks are there here? Three types ST1, SC1 standard. The names they have given is this one guys cold, magnetic, throughput optimized, these are the names given by AWS. Don't think these are universal names. They use this only in AWS. These names. General purpose means GPT. Provision IOPS means IO1. Throughput optimized means ST1. Cold hard disk means ST1. Magnetic hard disk means standard. So here only they have given the functionality of each one. So what HDD hard disk means it is used for frequently accessed data. So let's say you want to launch the main thing why we go with SSD and hard disk is cost, which is costly. Obviously,
SSD.
this will be costly. This will be cheaper. Cheaper. Why? Because this is a old technology. So then here you might be having got even in that case why AWS is giving hard disk? They can do simply a SSD only. No? Why to give hard disk? You see, guys, simple thing. Uh, Currently, we are using 4G. We have seen our generation has seen both 2G, 3G, 4G, and we have seen 5G also. So when 2G came, when 3G came, did they remove 2G immediately? That recharge plans, that mobile supporting 2G, they removed immediately and they took 1 or 2 years to come into this.
Wow.
At
Take
least it
time.
will take 1 to 2 years, right? Because the recharge plans they have to change, the mobiles they have to design supporting 3G. Similarly, when you are coming from 3G to 4G also, the new mobiles are releasing 4G supported mobiles. The network providers have to increase the tower capacity, the data quality capacity, everything, the speed capacity. So again, it took 1 to 2 years. Similarly, now also 5G, I think in India it's not there, but in US, other countries it's there. But if you observe, some mobiles are already coming in Indian market which supports 5G. Network is not there, but mobile is there. So again, it will take time. They have to provide recharge plans. They have to develop the network speed accordingly. Then only your mobile will support this. So similarly, 1 to 2 years time it will take. Similarly, here also, just because AWS has launched SSD, they won't remove HDD immediately. Why? Because you see some projects are running from last 10 years in the AWS. They can't simply replace the hard disk with SSD. They will give some time. That is one reason. That means you should give time to your customer to get adapt to the new technology. That is the one reason. Second reason is of course cost. Let's say I don't need that much durable and I don't need that much availability and that much performance. Mine is very I just want to store the data, but I want to pay a very cheapest price. I don't want to go for expensive kind of storage. So what I will choose obviously I will choose hard disk instead of choosing SSD. That means you are getting one thing at a cheaper price, you are getting the same thing at higher price. So obviously which one you will choose? You will go for a cheaper price. So it depends upon a business scenarios case. Let's say your manager says this data should be available frequently, immediately, performance should be utmost important. You don't worry about money. So 100% you will go with SSD. But whereas your manager says, Revan, this data is not important. We just store the logs. You see, logs. So what kind of logs? Let's take an example of telecom department or this banking HDFC. You see, whenever you recharge your mobile, whenever you withdraw money from your ATM or you do some online transaction, some statement will be generated or not. This much amount debited, this much amount credited. How are these all stored in the database? These are all stored in the form of logs. So how many logs will be generated every day for companies like Airtel, HDFC? Millions of blocks will be generated in every day. Do you think they will store these blocks in the highest storage? No. Why? What is the use of blocks in future? In future, if customer says, I have done recharge on that particular day, but money got deducted, but I did not receive the recharge. So how can they debug the issue by checking the logs? So these logs will be stored somewhere in the cheapest place, is the cheapest infrequent access storage. So it will be stored in this scenario. That means depending upon the your project requirement and your budget and your use case, you will choose the type of volume. Okay. So by when we use SSD, I said, what is IOPS? What is the full form of IOPS? Input and output per second. What is input and what is output?
Like read and write.
Right. So what is input and output at YouTube level? Let's say your YouTube. What is input at YouTube? You upload some video, that is called input. If you are downloading something, any video, that we call output. What is another name for input? Of course, input and output both falls under write activities. What is read? Read means if you are just watching a video, that falls under read. Whereas if you are uploading any video, if you are making any change to the existing video, that we call it as write. Write means you are changing something. Read means you are not changing, but you are just seeing. That is called read. So IOPS means input and output per second. So what did we discuss? This is very fast. SSD means very fast. So why it is very fast? Because of this nature. What is its nature? 10,000 IOPS. That means per second it supports 10,000 input and output on a single hard disk. So if you want something only, so you have right, you have an idea. Being a cloud engineer, you are having 50% in your project. So when 50% are at a time accessing the same Linux machine, so definitely there will be huge hard disk performance will be required. So if you think okay 10,000 IOPS is enough, you will go with GPT. If you think more than 10,000 IOPS is required, then you will go with IO. Okay. But other than hard disk are cheap. In this hard disk also, which is more, this will be much performance, this will less performance, this will be much more less performance. So in this hard disk, the numbering is 1, 2, 3. In the SSD, the numbering is this is 1, this is 2. But on an overall level, if you have to give number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in depth, how can, so these are the types of volumes. So if anyone asks you what are the different types of volumes, why there are different types of volumes means, what is the answer? The performance, cost, availability, durability. These four factors decide the type of volume which you have choose. Now let's discuss what is the delete on termination. So now what will you, now you see everything are in running state. Since all are attached to your machine, all are in state and it is running. Now what I will do, let's go to EC2 machine instance. And let me terminate my machine. So what do you think is will by volumes will be still there or it will get deleted once I terminate the machine?
Deleted.
Deleted. Why? What is the reason? Because of the
We have selected the option delete on termination.
delete on termination. If you do not select that option, the instance will be terminated, but still you can see the volumes in the volume section. And that volume, if you want, you can attach to any other instance. So how can you attach to any other instance? How can you increase the volume even after you attach to the machine without stopping the machine? These things will be in the next class. But in this class, let's focus on what are the different types of volume. In which scenario we have to choose which type of volume, what is SSD, what is HDD, what is the difference between them, that all we have discussed. So if you want to refresh it, please. Okay? Everything is wrong. So the last type is we have to discuss about pricing options. So what are pricing options? Nothing. So simply, what are the type of payments you have at telecom level? Mobile, right? What are the two types of payment mode? You have to pay your mobile bill, the network bill, Airtel or
Online, online and
no, not
Prepaid, postpaid.
yeah, yeah. I mean that prepaid and postpaid. So what is prepaid? Prepaid means you have to pay. Let's say you have recharge for 100
before
rupees.
you,
Yeah,
before
before.
you.
So you let's say you have recharge for 100 rupees. So how long you can use until that 100 rupees is finished? That is prepaid. What is postpaid? There is no limit. You can use how much you want. At the end of the month, you will pay the bill how much you got.
First use after pay.
Yeah, first we use, after we pay. So same is the case here. So what we are using here? Let's say we have launched EC2. So what do you mean by on demand?
Postpaid.
So on demand means, in fact, you can say on demand means postpaid. So whatever we use, you will pay that much. So let's say Uber car. So how you will pay for Uber car? How much long you go, you pay only for that much. So the on demand. So what is exact word we use here is on demand. So that particular word they say. So whenever you want to launch server, once you are done with your work or stop or terminate, you will go with on-demand type of. So whatever you are practicing all these days, what is that? It falls under on-demand. So you pay only for how much we use, right? So because let's say you are not sure for how long time you are using your machine. You are not sure you are using it for 1 year or 2 years continuously. Maybe sometimes you stop, sometimes you start, like that. So what you don't want to waste money unnecessarily. You don't want to pay extra money for what you are not using. So you want to pay money for how much we use. That we call it as on demand. So you see there are three types of payments in AWS. One is upfront, one is partial upfront, another one is no upfront. What is the meaning of upfront? Upfront means nothing but prepaid. So upfront means I will pay $1,000, $100 for AWS. So I can use any resources, EC2, databases, anything, until my $100 is expired. That is called upfront. What is partial upfront? Let's say you are using a mission continuously for 1 month. AWS say you will get a bill of $80. So if you agree to pay $40 before only, they will give you some discount since you are paying something partially before only. That is called partial upfront. Remaining $30, since they give you a $10 discount, you can pay at the end of the month. That is called partial. No upfront means postpaid. That means you will use everything. You will say to AWS, I won't pay you anything now. I won't pay you anything half also now. I will pay you everything completely at the end of the month. That is called no. And definitely here you won't have any discount. It's a common thing, right? Whenever even if you go for some big some retail stores where you get what is a wholesale store, there will you get discount or not if you buy something in bulk. Similarly, whenever you recharge this office, if you recharge for 1 year, they will give you discount or not. This telecom people, this Geo or whatever this Vodafone this. Same is the scenario here. So what happened here? Here I don't get discount guys. In a on demand I won't get discount. Why? Because I am only not sure that whether I will use for 1 year or not. So why I have to pay something unnecessarily before only? Whatever I use, I will pay only for that. So example is Uber car. What is reserved? Reserved means you are definitely sure. So let's say what do you pay in production machine? So how you use the production machines in companies? Definitely the production machine has to run 24/7 and 365 days. So here you are 100% sure I am going to use this machine forever. 1 year completely, 2 year completely. So in this scenario, which type you will choose? You will go for on demand or reserve. If you are sure that you are going to use 365 days, definitely you will go for reserve. Why you will go? Because here you will get some discount. Definitely if you are reserving something, that means you are giving a 100% business to the AWS from your end. So they will give you discount. So something like example is train reservation. So what do you say then? If, let's say you have reserved a flight ticket or train ticket, whether you travel or whether you don't travel, you pay the money or not. Even though if you don't travel, you pay money or not if you reserve it. Yes, you will pay the money. So that is the reserve. So let's say here the same EC2 instance, let's say T2 dot micron. If it costs $10 then only then maybe it will cost here for me $8. Spot. What is spot? Example is share market price. Here only you will get your answer. What is share market price? Is it constant on one day share market? Today it will be 100, tomorrow it will fall down to 10, next day it will go to 200. What is this? Fluctuation. So what is the fluctuation? How the fluctuations happen? Depending upon the demand and the supply of that particular product. Are you able to hear me, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, volatility you can say. So what happens you see, let's say your business timing is from 9 to 6, usually 9 a.m. to 6 a.m. I suppose. So what do you think in between and middle at the midnight 12 o'clock to morning 7 a.m.? So you don't your servers won't be in a running state. In fact, you don't use that many servers except the production. So that means there are so many systems lying idly in their data center of AWS. So that means they're sitting simply idly without generating any revenue for the AWS company. So what they will do instead of why I have to run these machines simply without any money, I will give for discounted price. So whoever wants, they will use for discounted price. So let's say the same T2 dot micro if you launch in the odd hour, something in the middle of the 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. So they will give you for let's say $5. The same T2 dot micro. Spot means you can't use it forever. The timings will be there only till this much time. I will give you for $5. So that is called fair market price. So when we use spot instances, let's say companies like DMart, Big Bazaar, what they have to do, they have to do profit and loss at the end of the financial year, right? So definitely they have to consider huge calculation. So definitely they have to launch some X series machines or some M series machines, which cost maybe $100 normal price. But the same type of machine, if they launch as a spot machine, maybe they'll pay only $60. So you see, you also have saved money being a customer. AWS also got some money without keeping the machine idly. Instead of generating $0, generating $60 is definitely profitable for them. Similarly for you also, instead of spending $100 for the same machine, you are spending only $60. So that is called spot. Okay. And finally, what is the other one? Dedicated. Just by seeing the name, you will understand this. What is dedicated? What you are dedicating here? What is a physical mission? What is the meaning of physical mission? We discussed in the starting of the class. Physical means purpose. In starting on we discussed that starting of the class. Hardware. If we have discussed that, the diagram, what is it? Status set, the physical system. So what we know that whenever you launch an EC2, that means it is launched on top of a physical machine. The EC2 is one of the EC2 in this physical machine. Let's say I have launched my EC2, so I got this machine. You have launched one EC2, you got this machine. We both are using same physical system, but we don't know that. We think that both are two different machines. Definitely, we have different IPs to get it. So let's say one of the person is a hacker. Okay, let's say this person is a hacker. He has got some skills such a way that he can penetrate into the hardware, and from this hardware he can penetrate into another EC2. So definitely this is risk for other persons. Maybe let's say this is a military project. This is some confidential project like banking level or some military navy project. So the data will be leaked. So they don't want to take that risk. Some companies they don't want to take risk that they don't want to share that their virtual machine EC2 with the another EC2 machines by having the same physical system. So in that scenario, what they will do, they will opt for reserving complete hardware. So let's say one hardware out from one hardware you can receive. Let's say this is hardware out on this hardware you can launch 100 EC2s. But as per your project, you are using only 50 EC2. But what your client says, you don't worry about money. You completely reserve this complete hardware. Even though we are launching 50 EC2 machines, I want these 50 to be secure. So what you will pay if you are paying 100 machines? How much money should get for AWS if they share it for other people? They should get money of 100 EC2s. But here you have launched 50 EC2s, but you want them to be much more secure. So that's why you're reserving complete hardware. So definitely you have to pay the money for 100 EC2. So definitely you will pay something here, $15. Dedicated host fee. So dedicated host means you are completely reserving the complete physical system. Usually we won't use even in companies also because first of all, it won't happen. Whatever if that hacker coming into your hardware and going to another, it won't happen. But still, if some companies like military projects, navy projects, use economic, government related, a country related data, these projects they don't want to take the risk. That's why they will reserve complete host, dedicated host, where physical machine will be dedicated for. For example, is these government projects, armies, all these. So these are different types of pricing options. So usually in real time, we will use only these three types. On demand is for developing and testing machines. Reserved machine to use for production machines. So if you are sure that you have to use for some reason, if you have to use some higher end mission, but you don't want to pay more money, you will also use for this. In real time, we don't use this one dedicated. But mostly 90% we use this one and this one only. 95%. Very rarely 5% we use photos. So these are different types of pricing options. So any doubt guys in today's class, you can ask me.
Uh, when you are doing a encryption section, right? How can you assign that this person having the encrypted or not?
So
How can you
you are
permission?
you are logging into the mission, right? How you are logging into the next mission? Which user?
Yeah, do,
That EC2 user, root user. Similarly,
yeah.
yes. Similarly, your Linux administrator will create your own user, relevant user like that. In AWS, IAM also in IAM will create users. So how many persons are there in the project? We will create that many IAM users for each one. And depending upon whether he's a developer, tester, database, we will assign permissions to them. That this person can access only EC2 service. This person can access only S3 service. Like
In real time, we are using IAM user only, right?
that. Right, IAM user. So every day, all these days, we are launching and using as a root user test. This clarity, now we will still feel in a confusion until we are using root user once. The moment I explain you IAM and show you practical, then you will understand what is happening in the real time. So tomorrow, once you join in the company, what you are, whether you are a root user or IAM user, what is the characteristic of a root IAM user, why the difference between root, I mean IAM, root and IAM user, these things you will understand once you discuss that IAM concept.
Revant, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, every day we are using Linux EC2 only, no?
Right.
Yeah, can we use Windows machine?
You see,
The Windows.
for launching web servers and these things, we go with only Linux machines. Why? Because Linux machines are very fast. We discussed, right? They are very light in weight.
Okay.
Using the Linux commands, you can operate and access anything clearly. Whereas Windows machines are very slow in nature by default. For opening, for reloading the machine, for everything, it takes so much time. That's why in real time for web servers, these things we don't use Windows machines. Where we use Windows machines means something like installing some DevOps tools, like
Okay.
Jenkins, these things.
Okay. Okay. In real time also we will use
Yeah, and let's say let's consider my project only. In my project,
oh,
I have 500 machines. Out of 500 machines, I have only two machines Windows.
okay.
That also for is one is for VPN, and another, both are for VPN only.
Okay. Okay.
But some banking projects they will use the Windows machines and they will install that IAS web servers and WS USA web servers, right?
For that, they will have separate Windows administrators, proper Windows administrators. So you will just launch that Windows machine and give to them by giving proper security and everything. They will take care of the Windows administration. Yeah, guys, please be on mute. Okay, guys, then I think today is Friday, right? Today's Friday, so we'll meet on Monday. Okay. So there are so many people still facing problems. You're launching web servers. So many are texting me that you're unable to launch a web server. It's a very easy thing, right? What I'm suggesting is first, please concentrate on the video. Pause it wherever you're getting doubt. Simply don't fire the command. You see, don't fire the command and say it's not working. You see the output also. Okay, you see whether the command worked or not. By seeing the output, you'll understand whether the command worked or not. So go through my video at the same time I'm giving you the comments list. Also, I have given you that PDF document. So definitely, if I am getting, you should also get. Why? Because I am also practicing in AWS console. You're also practicing in AWS. If I am getting, you should also get, right? I know it's initial stage. You will get some issues, but don't worry. If you get that issues only, you will know the mistake. Once you know that mistake, you will never do that mistake again. So do mistakes in the initial stage. I'm not saying you will get immediately. The more mistakes you do, the much better you will be learning. But don't text immediately. First, you try for yourself. 10 times you try. Still, if you don't get, then text me that I'm not getting. I have practiced 10 times. Then I will see the where is the issue.
Revant, I have texted you like DNS is not working.
DNS. Which DNS? Have you worked about DNS?
Load balancer.
Load balancer DNS is not working means there is some issue when you're configuring. Somewhere you have done some mistake.
Yeah, that only 3 times I have done by seeing that video.
So what do you think? What can be the mistake? So what is reflecting when you pasted the DNS in the browser? What it is showing?
No, only that DNS browser only not getting. Remaining instances are getting.
So did you check in your load balancer in instances column have they been attached and whether they are in service?
Yeah, yeah, it is attached
And what is the status it is showing, in service or out of service?
in service.
So that means, so what is the reason? So you say, what can be the issue? That means for load balancer, you have attached something and you're sure that web servers are running fine and they're in service, but the load balancer is unable to reflect in the browser. So where is the issue? Think technically. Now, by listening your query only, I got my answer.
Yeah, maybe in commands.
Not comments, because you did not do anything in load balancer. There is no comments at load
Yeah,
balancer. So how you are accessing traffic? I mean, how you are accessing load
yeah,
balancer?
yeah. HTTP port.
Right. So just check whether you have attached the security group which is having port 80 to that load balancer.
Yeah, I have attached only. I checked that also.
There is no other
Sir,
reason
yesterday
because
class, I got one failure actually, auto scaling group. When you finish your last step of final step, it review auto scaling group. I
right.
got an error, failed to create one scaling policy. But after that only, I enabled to access all the three services when connected. Terminate this one services, it's automatically recreate the one more instances. Everything is fine.
Right.
Uh, how uh, how to rectify this error?
Like I don't understand your question.
Sir, are you able to hear?
Yeah, I can able to hear. You do one thing. You just send me that screenshot, okay? Where you got that error.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm able to hear. I'm saying you just send me that screenshot. I will look into that. It's okay. We'll talk. We'll. Any others? Any doubts? Okay, so we'll meet on Monday. Okay, we'll meet on that Monday.